Okay, recording is on. So good evening, everybody. So before we jump into today's topic, so let me just give brief access to let me speak, or let me have Madhavi speak for a second, and then I'll come to Yuri's question. Madhavi, so what you were asking earlier is,
Break and
label.
continue.
Exactly. So label, okay, right? Label and then go to statements, right? So in your loops, in your while loop or for loop, there is a concept of label. You can define a label, and on certain condition, you can code in such a way that, hey, take me to this label. Meaning, you have this execution path, you have these lines of code, right? So you can declare a label here, and then you can declare a label here. You have label 1 and label 2 here, and you have a loop here, and then you say on a certain condition, go take me to this label 1 and go take me to this label 2, meaning that particular line of code, go take me there, wherever that one is. In a modern programming languages, it is considered bad practice to use label and go to. These have been there in the old style of programming, at least when I was learning back in school days, when I was learning Fortran and Pascal. These programming languages, they both have label and go to, and it is generally considered now in any programming language, any of the modern programming languages that you talk about, it's extremady bad idea, because it's not readable, and you just by looking at it, you will not understand it easily, mainly the readability. Okay, so you will not understand, okay, in what case would it go there and what happens actually. Okay, so it is highly discouraged. In fact, we even forgot the fact that these exist in Java. Okay, I've never used it in my whole career, never ever, and I highly recommend for you the same. But there are a couple of statements that we can talk about it. One is continue. Okay, the other one is break. These two are applicable and generally used, okay, in the loops. So let me take just for the example. Okay, you can apply this continue, break, whatever the concepts that I'll be talking about right now. You can apply this to any loop, but let me take a simple example of a for loop, right? So you're going over some 100 elements here, okay, and this is going to your for loop, right? So now you have let's say customers, okay. You are going through all the customers here. You are iterating through all the customers using the for loop here. You have been given a bunch of customers and you're going through all the customers. Let's say, and for each customer you need to calculate the taxes. Okay, customer object has a method called calculate taxes. Okay, or add taxes, something like that. And then you have a condition that if they live in a certain state, let's say if the customer is from California, then you don't need to calculate the taxes, but everybody else you need to do it. So now here you will write if customer dot get city or get state is if customer, I'm writing the actual code, c dot get state, right? C dot state or get state. Okay. If this is California, then you don't need to execute this line of code. You don't need to execute the rest of the statements inside the for loop. If you have a situation like that, you do not need to execute it. So let's say you have 50 lines of code here, and then here you are checking. Okay, here you are checking where they are from and other geographical information you are getting it. But if they belong to California, you don't need to do the rest of the calculations. All the calculation is here. But you need to proceed with the next guy. Let's say there are 100 customers. Let's say first guy, he's not from California, you executed all the statements. Second guy, not from California, executed all the statements. Third guy, when you came here, he's from California. Okay, you do not need to execute the rest of the lines of the code inside the for loop, but you need to go to the fourth one. Only the third guy needs to be skipped. In that case, you use this statement called continue. Meaning what you are saying is, hey, rest of the statements inside the for loop, you do not need to execute it. Go on to the next one. So the third guy happens to be from California. You are continuing, meaning after the continue statement, none of the lines of code inside your for loop or while loop will get executed. It will not get executed after the continue, but it will continue from the next customer. It will go back to the for loop and take the next one. So if that guy is from California, again you will continue, meaning you don't go to the next lines and you again go take the fifth one. If he's not from California, go ahead. That is continue, meaning do not have to execute the rest of the code inside this for loop or while loop, but go on and execute the next guy in my loop, whatever the loop is, either for loop or while loop or do while loop, whatever that one is. That is continue. And there is another statement called break. What this break does, it's applicable in both the loops. Again, it's for loop, while loop, do while, everything is same. So let's say that I must use red here. So let's say that I have 100 customers here, right? I started with 100 customers. Let's say if anybody is from Michigan, okay, that's it. If fifth guy is from Michigan, let's calculate the taxes, or you don't need to calculate the taxes. Not only for him, you should end the whole loop itself. You do not need to proceed. So your requirement is that iterate through all the customers and calculate the taxes until you find a guy from Michigan, because Michigan is special for whatever the reason. Okay, so now here if you say if it's Michigan, then you'll say break. That's it. Meaning when you say break, the rest of the lines of code inside the for loop will not get executed, and also the entire for loop will be broken. After the for loop, whatever the statement is there, it will jump into it. Even though you are the third customer and third customer happens to be Michigan, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way till 100th will be excluded, meaning it will not continue with the rest of the for loop at all. It will directly jump into the statement after the for loop. So you have a statement here, statement here, statement here, and you have a for loop here, and after for loop you have a statement here, right? So if you put a break here, okay, on certain condition, then you directly, JVM directly jumps into the statement after the for loop. There is no more for loop gets executed. None of the lines of code inside the for loop gets executed and no more iteration. But in the case of continue, that iteration will be stopped, but it will move on to the next guy. But in the case of break, that is not the case. So continue and break statements, these are important statements. We will be using it. Definitely we will be using it in our upcoming examples, but that's what these are. Okay, and these are applicable for any loop. Very, very good questions, Madhavi. Thanks for asking. And Madhavi, did I answer your questions? And everybody else, this is for everybody. This is for everybody. These are the things that I need to make sure everybody understand. It's not only for you, so. Okay, the next one is Yuri. Can you go ahead and unmute yourself and speak? Whatever the question, and you need to. How to fix problem? String cannot be resolved to the type.
Yes, I was trying to kind of like working on some problem. Like you told us to create like different objects and then try to communicate between them.
Yep.
So I was trying to kind of like make sure that like I had a.
Do you have the problem right now? I'm not going to solve the problem, but actually I'm going to make you solve it. I'll explain. Do you have that right now?
Yes, but let me
don't hesitate. Okay, go ahead and share with us, and team here will help. I'll quickly take a couple of minutes with you, and then we'll move on. Yeah, can you please share your desktop?
Actually, like I fixed it, but I fixed it not the way it should be.
Sure. Show us.
I don't have it right now.
You don't have it. Okay. Let me read. Can you read that? Cannot resolve to a type, right?
Yes.
I know. A similar problem.
Go ahead. You want me to explain what it is? I know what it is. Make presenter. Okay. Yes. Somebody is saying something.
Yeah, actually, even I had the same problem.
Okay. Is it Jyoti?
It was Uma.
Uma, sorry. Okay. Do you have right now?
Yeah, I do have it.
Okay. No, I want to take this as an opportunity to show something everybody. That's why I'm asking. Showing is better than me explaining it randomly. So, yeah. Can you share your desktop?
Yeah.
But it's not my turn. It's people have to help here.
This is the kind of error, right?
Yep. And today, the reason I'm emphasizing on you or Yuri showing this problem is, from here onwards, the rest of the 3 months, this particular problem, you will get it thousands of times, and you need to be able to figure out. Okay, from here onwards, you need to by heart it. You have to just get that into your blood, saying, oh, cannot be resolved to a variable or cannot be resolved to a type. So, yeah, we'll get it. So now, category 1 dot type. So what are you trying to do here? Tell me.
I have created actually 3 classes here, and my idea here is depending upon the age of the customers, the discount will vary.
Discount will vary based on, okay, beautiful concept, okay.
For example, if the customer is young, or I haven't specified the age exactly, but just young customers means then they will get 10% discount.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are seniors, then they will get 20% discount. And if they are members of that particular store or something, they will get 10%. And if they are non-member and if they are not a young customer or seniors, then they will have the actual price.
Okay.
So this is my idea. And
got it.
So I created a class called customer age. I'm not exactly clear as to how to proceed on it, but suddenly I got stuck and so I am there.
So what are you
This is
trying
the
to do
customer
here? What
price.
is the customer age here?
Customer,
What are you trying to do? We need to know your intention, right?
I was trying to communicate between the objects. So
Right?
here, this is from the customer age class is uh,
Oh, okay, okay,
communicating with this
okay.
customer age, and I was trying
So
to uh, do
now can
this
I?
one.
I get what you're saying. I think I kind of got what you're saying. So what you're saying is depends on the age you want to proceed it, right?
Yeah. So
The
I
discount.
have
Yeah, go ahead.
so I don't know whether I'm proceeding in the right direction, but this is the place where I'm having this error. Category 1 cannot be resolved to a variable.
Let's talk about the category one first of all. So
I
what do you think is the problem here? Category one
then
cannot
I
be
have
resolved to a variable.
yeah. Actually, here I was trying different words, and category was one of the word, but I don't know what exactly should come here. That's my
We'll get there.
okay.
So one, the first of all, customer age. Okay, go back here. Can you show me that? Can you do a Control Z? No. Here. Yeah. So the first and foremost here is that category one, right?
Yeah.
Category one dot type. What compiler is telling you? Can you mouse over that that error message? Yeah. It is saying that category one cannot be resolved to a variable. So category one dot type meaning there is a variable called category one. Within that is an object reference, right? Right?
Okay.
Within that you have something called type, and that is what you are trying to reference it. But where is the variable called category one? Within this particular class, customer age class, okay, you are trying to reference something. Let's say that, okay, let's say, can you give me access?
Yeah. Uh,
I will not solve, I think I'll not get into this one, Uma. No, I'm not going to, there are some fundamental issues here, but I don't think I'll go into that. I'll only explain on this one, okay? Because I think I
okay.
spent, at least 3 classes before on this one itself, so I'll not go again on this one. I'll tell you probably an idea. So let me say, did you give me access?
How do I do that?
It's something called you have to, okay, I requested, you gave me, okay, now looks like you gave me, okay, see here, so whatever that category is, so let's say, where did you define your age? Category 1 is customer price, okay, so let's say, so customer price, okay, customer price category 1 is new customer price. See here, you need to, this is a variable called custom category 1. Once you have this variable, now you can use that variable. You don't have a variable anywhere in your class, but you are trying to reference it. Without this one, if I just comment this guy, hey, what are you talking about? Randomly you're saying category 1 dot type. What do you mean by category 1? Where is it defined? Right? That's what it is. So, and this is what we deal with this 3 months. This is the most simplistic compilation issue. We need to understand it. So that means a variable that is defined is being a variable that is not defined is being referenced here. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what it is. And now speaking of this one here, customer age, there is no object called customer age. Age, think of it, age is one of the properties of customer. So there should be an object called customer. Customer have a name, age, ID. Customer already has age. Why do you need customer age object? Think of it. Age is a property of an object called customer. Customer can definitely purchase. This is a function. This is beautiful. I got it. Okay. And then based on the age you want to do it. Absolutely. I got that one too. But this is not correct. Customer age. You know what I'm saying? So what we need to do here is that I did a Control Shift F, meaning so what we need to do, I formatted the code to make it more readable. So what we need to do here is that if, this is where you need to put logic. If age or I think you put something like a type, okay? So what is this customer price here actually? So customer has a range, validity, type, category. So I'm thinking all of these are properties of customer. So customer is an object, and within that you have all of this is what I'm thinking. Validity, type, category may not be, but if I know what it is, what is this range here? I think you are in mute.
I think again it is the same problem. Means here I wanted the first class instead of in the customer age, I wanted to explain about the customer, and here about the price. So if we take the price has a range, it has that discount has a validity and it has a type. So that's what I meant here.
Discount has a validity. So there can be an object called discount, and within that you can say, you know, how much is the discount that somebody is holding, and you know, what's the expiry of the discount, what is the validity of the discount, all of that. And that discount, your customer can have that discount, right? Customer can carry that particular discount. So customer, so first of all, this is definitely not a customer age. Okay, this is a customer, and probably this one is price or a discount. Okay. Okay, is a discount object. You can have what kind of discount is it? I don't know, what is category in your mind? What is it?
Category is like here we have mentioned here, like the category 1 young customers, seniors.
Now tell me, young customers, senior customers, member customers, non-member customers, what is the property of? Is it property of discount, or is it property of customers? Who do you ask? Hey customer, what type are you? Or do you say discount type? Will discount ever have that kind of property? Young customers, senior customers, probably. I don't think so, right?
Yeah,
Right?
it's a property.
So, in my opinion, again, we can argue either way. These are all requirements, right? So maybe in some states that kind of requirement is there, but in the general, can you know, I think it's I have to mute you, Uma, because there's some background noise coming. So it's not necessarily the really, you know, any background noise, but it's getting key. So anyways, so the point is that is customer's property. Okay, in my opinion, that the category is a customer property, and now customer can hold the discount object definitely. So based on the category, you wanted to give for young customers 10% off. Okay. So what you can do is you can create a separate object called discount. Okay, the discount can take your type, your category. If it's young customers, then you can write you know, if else conditions. If it's young customers 10%, somebody else 20%, you can put all of those details. And then your customers will have the discount. Customers can hold their category, whether they are young or old, they will tell. And then now at that time when he's trying to purchase, then you can call the discount object and say that, hey, discount, can you tell me, I'm passing you the customer's type or category, and can you please tell me what kind of discount, how much percentage I need to apply, and then he will apply. You are a little ahead. This is we can work on it, but it's more involved. So we already spent a lot of time on this, so I'm not getting into the details. So, but this one is the compilation. Okay, make sense, Uma? I know I'm not solving your problem right now. Because we need to move on with other topics. So, okay, yeah. Otherwise, we'll be here itself in the object. So, but definitely we will get to that again. We'll be doing a lot of examples. So don't worry about it. Okay, but whatever the idea that I gave you, so keep that in mind, and can you put them into your code, like how I mentioned, and then I'll request everybody to help Uma in tomorrow's discussion on that. Yo, sweet. See, Jyoti, thank you so much.
Venkat?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to. Hello?
Yeah, Shailaja, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to access the variable inside the for loop.
Shailaja, go ahead, speak.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are all able to hear you properly. Okay, no problem.
Fine. Actually, I'm trying to access the variable inside the loop, for loop.
Mm-hmm.
But I am unable to hear. It is saying an error.
Mm-hmm. Can we all see what's going on there?
Yeah, sure.
Can you make yourself the presenter and then show us what's going on? Okay.
I'll show you that.
Sure. Wow, you're doing a lot of examples. Very good.
Yeah, thank you. Here, this is the problem.
Okay.
I just want to assign the value to the array through the for loop.
We didn't talk about arrays first of all. Okay.
No, just here is one example.
Okay.
I'm trying to use the local variable mark.
Mm-hmm.
When I just it is saying an error.
The local variable mark1 may not have been initialized. Where is that? So I can tell you. So this is one more examples. We will talk about the local variables. If other people don't catch it right now, that's fine. But this is one of the most popular compile time errors that you will run into. Mm-hmm. Okay, cannot be resolved to type is number one. Probably this is number two. Can you mouse over that? What it is saying is that error message, the local variable mark1 may not have been initialized, meaning your int mark1 has not been initialized. That's a local variable, meaning method level variable. Okay, do it int mark1 equal to 0. Initialize it. Do it. Int mark1 equal to 0. That's all it takes. Your instance variables get automatically initialized, but your local variables will not get automatically initialized. That is what the issue that you are running into.
Yes, fine, thank you.
No
and
problem.
One more thing.
Yes.
I think here
But this is the second most common error that we will see it. Okay. The local variable may not have been initialized, meaning that variable has not been initialized, and it is a local variable, meaning it's inside the method you have declared it. Your compiler will automatically initialize for you if it is an instance variable, but probably we'll talk about it today. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing. I think I forgot where is this.
Sure.
I think here is that.
Okay.
I just want to pass. I mean, I'm trying to assign the value in for loop, but not in for each loop. I try to use in a for loop, iteration loop. Here,
You want to wait? You know, the other people do not know about their race. I'll be talking about. I think I asked everybody to watch the videos, right? Okay, but still I'll talk. Yeah, go ahead.
yes, just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is.
So everybody managed to do the arrays also, like how Shailaja did. So I don't need to talk about arrays today. You all mastered it. Okay. Maybe you want to show us towards the end of the class, Shailaja?
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah. Let's not. All of them are waiting. So. Okay. So today my main topic is going to be.
Venkat, one question.
Yes.
Just a quick one. So we were talking about the continue and break, correct?
Yes.
So I have a nested for loop.
Okay.
And in the first for loop, I will start it with initializing int value I, and
Okay.
in the the nested loop, I will be having it int j.
Okay.
Okay, but I break out of the second for loop.
Yep.
When I break out of it, what would be the value of j?
Good point. Good point. Very, very, very good point. Okay.
So it would go back to 0, correct? Whatever that I have.
You brought up, and also I think it's important point since we just talked about local variables, etc. So there is something called variable scope. Okay. So this is again not only for Jyoti, it's for everybody. So she has one for loop. This is upper for loop. Okay, she's going through certain items here, and then she executed line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and then again she put some for loop underneath this one. Again you have some more lines of code, and then again. So this is your first block of code, right? This is your inner block, right? And then this is your upper block, upper for loop. So what happens is, if you, okay, first of all, let's talk about the variable scope, right? Let's say you said int I equal to 0, okay? And then you started with I0 to 100, etc. And you declared a variable here called j. The first point we all need to understand here is that the scope of I is only until that for loop. Meaning this I is not visible to a line of code here outside the for loop and here. It is not visible outside of this for loop, but it is visible entire this block of code, meaning this whole for loop, this bigger for loop, this I is visible. This I is visible here, I is visible here. Visible meaning you can access it. You will be able to access it. You will be able to change it. You will be able to, modify it. You can do anything. Okay, you can access that I here, 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 even within this code, because all of this is in that bigger for loop. Now let's talk about J here. Again, the same principle is applicable. You declare the variable called j for this particular for loop, so this j scope is only within this block, within this smaller for loop. If you try to access j here, right above the second for loop, you will not be able to, and you try to access this j after this for loop, you will not be able to access it. So did you all understand the first point, which is the scope of the variable? We must understand this. We must master this. The scope of the variable. If I define a variable inside a method, if I say int age equal to something, age equal to 25 to start with, and this age variable is visible throughout this method. But once you go to a different method, or once you come out of that method, this variable is not visible. Meaning, you try to access this age in some other method, it will say that, sorry, age cannot be resolved to a type. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't see a variable called age. By the way, like how we have the variables or fields are called instance variables, right? They are object level variables. Similarly, all the variables that are declared inside the methods, they are called method level variables or local variables. The scope of the local variables is only within that method. And you must initialize the local variables. That is the error that we just talked about. Otherwise, you will get the error saying the local variable age may not have been initialized. You need to initialize it. Compiler does not initialize the local variables for you, but compiler automatically initializes the instance variables. That's one point. The second point is the scope. Within the for loop, if you declare a variable, it's good until that for loop. If you declare a j variable, it is visible only for this particular for loop. And now the third point is, if you break this inner for loop, okay, the rest of the lines of code within this for loop will not get executed anymore, and no more for going through this for. It just breaks here. The whole for loop will be broken here, and it will directly jump into the next line after this for loop. It will go into the next line. It will execute this line of code, which is after this inner for loop. JVM goes line by line, line by line, line by line like this, and you have for loop here, and if you break it, it will again move on to the next line here. Is everybody clear on that? Those 3 points, very, very, very fundamental points, very important points. Did you get that, Jyoti? Okay. Everybody, did everybody get it?
Yes, Venkat. Yes, Venkat.
Wonderful, but I want to make sure everybody got it. Excellent.
Yes, because I was writing a program to print out the prime numbers from 1 to 100.
Sure.
So I used this nested loop.
Absolutely. Yep.
So actually, my program is working. I just wanted.
Did you get the complete picture on it now?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So if everybody is clear, then let's move on to. No problem. Let's move on to the next topic. I'm not sure how much to explain about the arrays though, because if you already know, if you already watched it, because that's what I told you guys to watch it. If you already watched it and if you think no need, I'll not worry about it. But otherwise, I want to go over the arrays. Probably I'll go through it, one more time. That's okay. Okay. Probably I'll talk about a couple of points that I've not discussed in the previous classes about the arrays. So, arrays. So, array is nothing but a container or a bag that holds similar objects with fixed size. These are the most important points. One is similar objects, meaning if you created a bag, meaning an array, okay, I'm going to draw this actually. Let me draw array this way. I'll tell you why. So let's say this is a bag. This is an array, right? I'm loosely saying bag. Do not use that terminology. Array is a container that holds similar objects with fixed size. What do you mean by similar size, similar objects? Meaning, you have to know upfront what you are trying to hold at. So far we talked about objects and object-to-object interaction, etc. But we never talked about, hey, do you only talk about, let's say we talked about the customer and their pricing, right? And we talked about car and the engine, the object-to-object interaction. But how about holding 10 cars? I want to create a container, a big truck, let's say that's a container that holds 10 cars. Okay? And I want to pass this container to some other object, or I want to pass it to somebody else and say, hey, these are all the car objects that you're dealing with. Is there any container in Java like that? And that container, the word container, I can use it, and there is a fancy term called data structure. Okay, so data structure is nothing but the container that holds something. Your object is also a data structure that can hold, your customer object will hold your first name, last name, and other details. Your car holds all the details like VIN number, title, make, model, etc. Okay. Similarly, array is also a data structure. It's a container that holds a similar objects, meaning if you say that, hey, this is an array of customers, then that particular container will hold all the customer objects, and it will only hold the customer objects. You cannot put customer object and another laptop object or another employee object. You cannot in arrays. And also the size is fixed. Upfront, you have to know how many customers you are dealing with. Upfront, you have to know how many cars you are dealing with. What is your size? How big container do you need it? You can create as big container as you like, but you need to know the size upfront, meaning the reason I'm saying you need to know upfront is because if you take a container of, you assume that there are only 10 cars, so I need a container that fits 10 cars. Now you got 11th one. Array does not let you add it. Array does not grow automatically to take the 11th one. You have to know the size upfront, and that is a fixed size. Okay, and now let me talk about something here. Does that make sense? So it's a container that holds similar objects, several of similar objects, meaning you can hold all the car 1, car 2, car 3, car 4, car 5, all of them you can hold them inside the container. Now, the interesting part here is that array is a separate data structure where all these objects are actually stored side by side, okay? And each one of them, each object that you are putting inside the container will be given an index, meaning, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, 10. This is a container, this is an array that holds 10 car objects. Each one of these objects are positional. They will have something called index, meaning this index starts from 0, okay? This one meaning this space is allocated for the 0th position of the array. 0th position is meaning this is the first element in the array. And now the next one is, this is the second element in the array, but the position is 1, position is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So since the index always starts from 0, if an array of size n is there, the maximum index it can have, the maximum index is n minus 1. So here you have an array of size 10. So the last index is obviously 9. So at the 9th position, at the 9th index, you can place the last car or 10th car here. Okay? So this is how the array is positioned based on the index. And now, one important point I want you to understand here is, let's say for some reason, let's say I'll use a different color here. Let's say I want to C1, C2, C3, all the way to C9 or C10, okay? C10, all the way to C10. All the car objects are sitting nicely into these positions, okay? Now, let's say it is occupied until C9, okay? C10 is empty. C10 is empty, just for the discussion's sake. C10 is empty. We have only 9 elements and the 10th one is empty. Now I have an option, right? Now I can go ahead and I got my 10th car and I can put my 10th car in this last position. I can directly put it. Okay? But let's say if I'm so interested in putting that object in let's say index 5, meaning as a 6th element, if I want to do it, there is a space here, right? You know what I have to do? First of all, I have to empty this space. I have to empty this space. Currently, who is sitting here? Car 4 is sitting here. Now I have to empty this space. How do I empty this? This is how typically the algorithm works. What we do is, the last one, 9th vehicle, we move it to the 10th one, okay? And we move this previous vehicle here, this previous vehicle here, this previous vehicle here. Now, do we have the space here? We have the space here, right? We have moved all the objects from this position onwards. We have moved all the objects to one level up. Now we made some space. Now you go and jam in your car here. Now you go put this new car here. I'll say NC, new car. Did you all get that? So we have to move the objects up to make some space in the middle. So if you need to insert in between an array, because array size is fixed, right? Okay. And you need to copy all of them to one position next, and then make some space in the exact location, and now you can jam in that guy here. Exactly, imagine you are in a warehouse, in a car warehouse or a car container. Let's say there is a huge container or a warehouse that has this position here. Think in the real world. These are all the cars here, and we want to put it exactly like here. Then you need to move all these guys here, right? And then you jam in between. How is it related? Probably not related right now, but later on I'll talk about it. Once I talk about the collections, I'll bring up this point again. I'll bring up this point again. Okay? Because there are a lot of data structures that hold the data. Okay? So there are higher level data structures that depend on array, and array is one of the lowest level data structures. Arrays are one of the lowest level data structures that any programming language provides. You know, it's all the way from C, C++, Java. You know, you take any of the new programming languages, you will see them array. So array is a data structure that hold the data. It's like a container that hold the data or objects of the similar type, and then with a fixed size. Okay, just this one, keep that in mind. This is how it works exactly behind the scenes, your index based. Okay, this is all theory. This is how it works, right? Now, how do we, anybody has any questions at this point? I can explain it one more time if anybody is not clear.
Yeah, Venkat, this is Ravi here.
Ravi.
I don't know whether this way it works or not, but just a small clarification.
Absolutely.
Well, you told it's of a similar size and a similar and a fixed size and a similar structure, right?
Similar objects.
Similar objects and a fixed size. That means it will be the same type, definitely, right?
Yep.
Then once you insert a new car into that particular container where car 4 is being placed previously, does this new car becomes C4 or it will be allocated as a new object there?
No, you have to, I think I got the point. First of all, this is just a container. Your container will never create the objects. In the real world also, Ravi, does your container create any cars? No. You have the cars, meaning you already created various cars like this. Car C1 equal to new car C2 equal to new car C3, C4, C10. You have these car objects now. Now, what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about this one at all, Ravi. You have all of these cars here, okay? So let's say your BMW cars, the factory has already produced these 10 cars. Now, we are talking about the container that fits these 10 cars. How can I ship? Can I use one container to hold all these cars so that I can give that container to somebody and ask them to anything?
It means it's just storing that particular object. It doesn't change any. Okay.
You precisely got it.
Okay,
no.
Okay. Thank you.
You have all of these objects. Probably you have the, everybody has this doubt. So let me reiterate my point here. You already have your objects. We are only talking about the container here. Array is nothing but the container that stores these objects. And now I can give that container to somebody. Now probably he wants to print the invoice for all of them. So that's where we'll use these loops, for loop, while loop, etc. But we are talking about a container here. And let me say one thing here. This array itself is an object. This array itself is an object. So this container is also an object. So you create the object separately. Now you create your container here. Okay? So this is how we do it. Actually, let's look at it right now. Let's write the code for this one so that things could be. So we already have C1 to C10, right? So this is the syntax. This is how we use it. Car, array, So these are the square brackets that we use to say that this is an array here, car array, okay, cars equal to new car. Here, this is where we have to specify the size. The size is 10 here. Okay, now when you do it, you know what happens here? You created an object here. You created an object, so you created a container object. This is an array object, or I don't want to show this. Okay, it's created like this, an object. Now you can say that the first car within this container is car 1. What did we put here? C1, right? Okay, let's use C1 here. Here, C1. You get it? Cars of 0, meaning, hey, in this, now what is cars? Cars is a variable that is holding on to this container. This is cars here, okay? This is referencing this particular container here. Now, cars of 0, meaning the first, in the first position here, the 0th position here, please put C1. So you're putting C1 here. And now, cars of 1 equal to C2. Meaning you're saying, hey, I'm putting the second car here. I'm putting this third car into this one. This is how we load into the container. Meaning this is how we assign values to the array. So by saying of 0, meaning, hey, my first object, in the position 0 of array, the cars is nothing but it's a variable that is holding the actual array object itself. Keep that in mind. Did we all get this one? So this is how we assign it. And if you want to find out, hey, can you give me the object that is storing at the index 9? I can get it like this. Now, this gives me a car object that is actually storing at index 9. What do you mean by index 9? Meaning position 10, the last one. Get it? Ravi, did you get it? And everybody got it?
Yes, Venkat, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, can you ask the question again, Jyoti?
So we still need to instantiate C1 and C2, C3 as a per car type, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. The reason we need to instantiate is because here we are talking about the container, right? But think of it. This container is like a truck with the position, with the exact position. Getting it? So this container is exactly like a truck that can hold 10 cars. But C1, C2, C3, C4, these are actually the remotes to the actual car objects. Your truck never creates them. You need to create them and put them in the truck. So you need to create it. So you need to create the real car. Car C1 equal to new car.
Yep.
Our customer C1 equal to new customer. You need to create that. And now you can create a lot of cars like this, and now you can assign or you can put them in the truck. Does it make sense, everybody? And let me show you. Got it. Okay, very good. Let me show you how we can do it. Okay, let me create one separate package here. Okay. let me explain the package structure. Okay, I wanted to explain it, but I'll explain a little later. So for now, let me create here itself because I don't want to confuse everybody. So let's say array demo 1. Do we have an object called car? No, we don't have it, right? Okay, we can take string, right? So we can take all of these, students that we have pretty much, right? So we can say, since we are talking about cars here, but I don't have an object called car, so I wanted to take a different object. So string is an object. You can definitely take string, and you can definitely take your primitives also. You can do int array, double array, character array, Boolean array. You can do it. You can do any of it. If you do like this, int array, this is an array that holds all the values of type int. If you do something like this, double array, this will hold the values of type double. And if you say string array like this, it will hold the values of type string. So I can do a string array here, string array, my students here, and then I'll say new students of 20. Let's say there are 20 students. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, string array students equal to new string of 20. So here we defined a container, an array here, and we actually created it using the new variable, right? I mean, it's not a variable, it's actually new type, right? So using the new operator, we created the array with the size 20 here. This is the size of the array. Now let's do it. Let's assign these people. So the first person, whoever that one is. So let's go here and look at the list here. And I'll go from top to bottom, and I'll go in alphabetical order here. Okay. So what did I do here? Anoop is a string. I created a new string here, right? I created an object here. With this one, just Anoop is a string object now. Behind the scenes, there is an object created, and within that object is nothing but your string Anoop, right? So now I'm assigning, or I'm putting Anoop in the first position of this array that I just created here. Make sense? Now, who is the next one? Antenna. So the second guy, second student. So now I'm assigning the second one. Okay? Now I'm putting antenna in the second position. And now I'll put Aruna in the third position. I'll put Aruna in the third position. Her index is 2. That's it. I'm not going to do all 20 remaining, but you got the point here. Okay. Now, got created, and in this case, students is the variable that is holding or that is pointing to the container, which is array. Okay. Now, if I want to, this is how you assign it. Okay. And now if I want to get, hey, I need to find out who is at the third position. Okay. Now I want to find out third student is, okay. Now you assigned these people into this array. Now you gave this array to someone. Okay. All he can do, if he wants to find out who is the third student, how does he find out? This is his array. This is the variable. This is the object reference that is pointing to the array. And here I'm saying of 2, meaning the third one here, index 2. Can you point, or can you give me the student, the string student that is at position 2, index 2. Index 2 meaning third position, because it always starts from 0. Now print it. We'll get Aruna. Obviously, who is there at the third position? Aruna. And now let me say our second position. I want to find out who is at the second position. I want to find out who is at the second position. Oops. Second position, antenna is at second position. And if you get the students of 0, you'll get Anup. Make sense? And now, what will happen? I want to find out who is at the 10th position. I want to find out who is at the 10th position. Can anybody guess what happens? Can anybody guess what happens here? Did we assign the third guy? Did we assign the 10th position? Did we assign any string to the 10th position? What happened? We did not. If we did not assign, then it gets initialized to default value, whatever the default value is. All the strings get initialized to 0, all the booleans get initialized to false, all the ints get initialized to 0, all the doubles get initialized to 0.0, etc. Keep in mind, you do not get array index out of bounds exception here, because you are not out of bounds. Some of you said array index out of bounds exception, but you do not get, because you are not out of bound. See, you created an array with size 20, and you are asking for the 9th one. Nobody has been assigned in this 10th guy, or 9th position, or 9th index. Nobody has been assigned. And you can do, what you can do is, you can ignore, this is the first guy, second guy, third guy, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Now, I will ignore all the positions here in between, and I can directly assign the 10th position. 10th position I'll assign Satya. Okay? I just saw she's here. So I'll assign Satya. See here, 10th student is Satya. Now, you say, who is the 15th? Who is the 15th guy at index number 14? Well, it's null. Nobody has been assigned. But what happens if I try to ask for somebody at the 20th position? 20th position means 21st element. Okay? Now you will get the exception. You will get the error called in array index out of bounds exception. Out of bounds. See this one? Your bound is only from 0 to 20. That is what you created, but you are trying to access something out of bounds. Okay? I'm sorry, you will not be able to do it. If you try to access from an array that is out of bounds, index out of bounds, then you will get this exception called array index out of bounds exception. Your index is out of bounds. You can only do from 0 to 19 because your size is only 20. I'm sorry, boss, you'll get the error. You can do 19, definitely no problem. And you get obviously null because that has not been assigned. Make sense? So you may be wondering, hey, what exactly happens in between? So we assigned first position here, 0th position. This is assigned, this is assigned, this is assigned. And after that, not assigned, not assigned, not assigned. Here, 10th position is Satya. What exactly happens here? Well, they will be left blank. It does not shrink and put Satya here. No, your container is fixed no matter whether you use it or not. Your container, you created that big container, probably for futuristic reasons. Or you didn't know the size, whatever the reason is, but you put it, and in between you left them blank. They are blank. Make sense? Okay. And now, how about this? I want to loop through. I don't want to find out first guy, second guy, third guy. I want to find out everybody there in that array. How do I do that? Well, you can use a for loop to do that. And especially if you just want to read simply every element in an array, you can use a special for loop called enhanced for loop. Okay? Or it's also called for each loop. Okay? It's also called for each loop. The reason they call it for each loop is because it goes through each element within that container, whatever that container can be. That container can be an array. Later we will look at the more collection interfaces. That container can be list, set, a lot of other data structures. Okay? So how do I do that? Well, this is how you do that. For, you don't have to do this. This is one way of doing it. For int I equal to 0, etc. That is a traditional for loop, and this is enhanced for loop. We'll look at both examples, no worries. But for string, what is the type here? Type is string, right? Okay. And then for each student, okay, in the container, you hold each student or each string in the container that you read, you hold it onto a variable. I'll just say student here and then colon your container. You need to familiarize yourself with this syntax here and then your block of code. Let's go through this one more time. We are reading it for the first time. This is called for each loop, okay, or enhanced for loop. Okay, here, this is the container. After colon, this is the container. So within this container, go through each one of them in the container. For each element in the container, you hold each one of them into this variable called student, and it is of the type string here. So the student's container, what does it contain? What does it contain? What type does it contain? It contains all the strings, right? And now it contains all the strings, exactly. So now for each string that I read, I'm holding into this variable called student. So first time it goes to for loop, your student will have this value called Anup. And second time it goes to this one will have antenna. The third one will have Aruna, and the fourth one will be null. Fifth one will be null. Sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth one will be Satya. I mean index 9 will be Satya. Now let's print this one. System.out.println. I'll just print it. Just say this variable. I'll just print this variable. Whatever is assigned to this variable. Let's take a look at it. See here? Started from Anup here, or I can even comment out these guys here. See here? It started from the first one is Anup. So from the container, you are looping through the container using for each. So each string inside your student's array, put it into this variable, and now that variable is holding, this is pointing to that particular object that is holding, that is actually stored here within this. Each time it goes there, it will hold on to that variable. Okay, Anup, antenna, Aruna. Now Index 3 is now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now index 9 is Satya. Again, but you have all of this because your size is 20 here, right? So this is 20. After that, we did not assign. We never assigned it. Let's say you assigned student 18, last but one. Index 18. Let's say somebody, Ketan. Okay. See here, 18 here. This is how it stores, and this is called for each loop. It only helps you if you want to go through every element in the container. That could be an array, that could be several other data structures. We'll look at it later. Several other containers like arrays. Everybody? Everybody make sense? Anybody has any questions at this point? Are you guys all getting, or sleepy? Yeah? You're all getting? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Called for each loop. Now, let's look at the traditional for loop. How can I read the traditional for loop? Okay, let's look at it. Probably I can do array demo 2. And then I'll copy paste all of this information. Now let's look at the traditional one. Traditional one is simple, right? For int I equals 0, I less than something, and I plus plus. Now, what should I do here? I less than what? Can anybody tell me? I less than? I should use 20. Good. I should use I less than 20. Right? And now, we'll say, now students of. Now tell me, if I want to read the first guy, how do I read it? Students of 0. If I want to read the second one, students of 1. If I want to read the third one, students of 2. If I want to read someone at the index 9, students of 9. But here, every time I value changes, right? So students of I. First time it starts with 0, and it will print students of 0, and then again second time it's I equal to 1, so students of 1. Third time I equal to 2, so students of 2. Students of 2 is, I don't know, will be printed. Now you'll get the exact same results using the traditional for loop also. Let me tell you something. Let's say you don't know the size of the array. Somebody gave you this. Somebody gave you this variable called students that is pointing to an array, and you don't know the size. Here you knew it, but what if you don't know the size upfront? At the compile time, you don't know the size. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can give you that container and ask you to loop through all of them and say, print it. In that case, you have this container. Container, as I told you, is also sort of an object, not complete object. We'll talk about the complete objects later, but it has a property called length. It has a property called length. So students.length will give you the length of the array. Actually, you can print it. Size of the array is, the size of the array is students.length. So size of the array is 20. And now you have used that one here, I less than. So this gets evaluated first. So it will automatically replace with that whatever the value here is, 20. And your JVM will go through each one of them and it will print it. Simple. Okay. But it doesn't have to be strings, ints. You can do ints, right? Int of array. Let's say every student's age. New int of 20. Okay. So now we can put ages like this. Okay. Now we can put something like this. So second one, third one. Okay, like that. So this is how you assign it. So you can use int, you can use strings, but it does not have to be the simple objects or primitives. It can be our complicated objects, meaning our objects also, meaning if you have an object like a car, you can do cars equal to new car. You need to create a container with the fixed size, which is 20 here. Now, before this, you can create car1 equal to new car here. You created a car here. Keep in mind, okay? You created a car here. And then you create more cars, okay? And you assign your fields and all of, you assign your fields, etc. And now, you can put each of these car into the container. Now, you're putting car 1 into first 0th position. Now you can do car 2 in first position, car 3 in second position, like that. Make sense? That's how it works. And what you can do here is that in your for loop, okay, in your for loop you can use enhanced for loop, right? Car equal to colon cars. Now this is an object, this cars is an array of car, right? So here each car inside the array, for each iteration it will put it into this variable called car. Now this will have the behavior also, right? It will have a methods also, right? So you can do whatever you want to do it. You can say car dot start, or you don't need to car dot start returns void, so you don't need to print it. So you can just say car dot start. You don't need to just print it. You can do, so what you are doing is, somebody gave you the container, let's say the container, you are looping through each car in the container and you are starting every single car automatically. Getting it? That's it. Any questions? Anybody? Yeah, you can do car.make. You can, absolutely. Can we use Boolean primitive here? If yes, can you please show us an example? Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe I'll take another one. So let's say Boolean array, and Boolean array, let's say paid. The same students, let's say whether the students have paid or not. Okay, I think it's not a bad example to take it. So sorry, here, yeah, paid array. Okay, now you're holding on to all whether each student has paid me or not. So paid array of 0 equal to true, right? Now let's say paid 1, meaning In the you are creating an array that takes these Boolean values, and they can take either true or false values. Make sense? Like this. And you can use the same thing to print it. You can use the same for each loop or traditional for loop to print it. That's it. It's very simple. Make sense? Okay, no problem, Homa.
Yes, Venkat.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, can we pass the multiple arrays as return parameters in method?
Can we pass multiple arrays
As return parameters in
as
method.
in a method? Okay.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think it can.
Okay. How? As I told you, array is also an object, right? It is a
Yes.
container. It is an object like your customer, like how customer is holding your first name, last name, address, phone number, etc. Similarly, your container is holding multiple of something, right? Now
Yes,
you
but
tell me.
but it is of same type. I
Agree.
just want to.
Agree. You can pass that container from your method, but you're asking, can I pass back two containers?
Yes, as a return parameter.
Is that your question?
Yes.
Can we pass two objects? Forget about
As
arrays.
written.
Can we forget about this one? Can we pass two objects back to the caller? Anybody in the class? Can we pass two objects back to the caller? Can we?
I think as
We
I
cannot.
think we can pass multiple parameters. I think so.
We can pass
Variables only.
multiple parameters. We can accept multiple arguments, but you are talking about returning back to the
Return
caller.
parameters. Yeah.
You can only return one object. You can only return one object.
Okay.
But what happens if I have multiple arrays? Well, you create an object. You create an object. Agree? So see, you want to pass the first name string, you want to pass the last name string back to the caller. Can you pass both first name and last name strings back to the caller? You cannot, because they are two different objects, and you cannot pass two different objects or two different primitives to anything, even if it's same type. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You cannot pass more than one object or more than one type. Meaning, it's not the type meaning. I'm not saying here string and boolean or anything like that. I'm saying more than one object back to the caller. You cannot put all of those objects to a bigger object. Are you getting my point?
Yes, Venkat.
Okay. Everybody. I want to make sure everybody got the point. I think we talked about it in the last class. In fact, wonderful. So that's about arrays pretty much. And now let me tell you, we know the arrays here. I need to tell you something here. Look at here. We've been talking about this main method, right? Public static void main. Okay? This main method, like any other method, it is not returning anything back. That is why the method signature has void. We don't know what is static. We didn't talk about what is public, so don't worry about this. But it is accepting something as a parameter. What is it accepting? It is accepting, anybody? It is accepting string array as the argument. Your main method is accepting string array as argument. What is the importance of the main method? You can have your own method. You can have your own method, right? I'll just say void m1. I have my own method. But what is the, you can have hundreds of these methods, but what is the importance of the main method? the importance of the main method is to kick off the JVM. You can use main method to kick off the JVM. You can right click run as a Java application. You can kick off the JVM. You're asking JVM to actually execute your piece of code, execute your byte code. You cannot ask. In fact, when you right click run as here, you don't even see the Java application if you don't have this main method. Okay, let's say I put it like this. Now let's right click run as. See this one? There is no run as Java application. You cannot kick off your JVM. You cannot run this one. JVM is treating your main method like any method. The reason is your main method has a standard method signature or standard method conventions. You must take string array as an argument. That is when your JVM understands that, okay, oh, okay, this guy has a main method. Okay, this is exactly, it will look for public. It has to be public. It has to be static. The return type must be void. It's main, and then your string array args. I mean, this is just a variable name. This one you can put it anything. Doesn't matter. Okay, or you can say, rightly, you can say arguments, but it takes the string array. Now you can ask, why does your main method take string array as an argument? What is the reason? When you kick off your JVM in your main method is accepting string array as the arguments. So what does it do? What is that string array for? We just learned arrays. Anything to do with that? Well, when you kick off your JVM, let me draw it here. When you kick off your JVM, this is your JVM, right? And from here, you are saying Java something, or you can right click and run as a Java application, right? This is your JVM. So when you do this one, you can pass from where you are running. You are an external guy. You are running it, right? You are running your Java program. When you run your Java program, meaning when you kick off your JVM, you can pass some arguments to it. You can pass some arguments to it. Those arguments are the string array here. You can pass some arguments, and those arguments are the string array. How can I pass these arguments? Well, if you're doing in command line, right? Let's say you're doing Java hello world, let's say. Okay, so you have your JVM is kicking off, you're executing the main method in hello world.java. After it got compiled, you got that .class file and you are kicking off that one. Now, whatever you pass it here, let's say my first name and last name, right? Let's say my first name. This is one argument I'm passing it, and space Hari. So this is one string, this is second string. So all the strings that you pass to this program, okay, you can pass after your class name, and each one of them, this is a string, right? This is a string, this is a string. What JVM does is, when you kick off like this, it will create behind the scenes, this is a string, this is a string, it will create a string array here, string array equal to new string array of whatever the size is 2 here, and it says that of 0 is Venkat, of 1 is Hari. And now it will pass that string array to this program here. That is why it is accepting a string array, meaning in a nutshell, my point is you can pass all the arguments. You can pass the arguments to your JVM. When you run a program, all those arguments will be passed as string array to your program. Everybody got the point? Let me explain it with an example. Let's say, hello world, public static void main. Okay. Now, if somebody passes me their name, right? So let's say first name and last name. Those first name and last name, if somebody passes me at runtime, I'm not hard coding their first name and last name here in my program. I'm expecting them to pass at runtime. Okay? So those parameters, those arguments that are passed will be passed to me as a string array. Now, what is the variable that is holding it? Args. Now, args is an array variable. So of 0 will give me the first parameter, right? First param equal to args of 0. And let me print that first param. Hello, whatever that first param is, right? Are you all getting it? Now, how can I pass my arguments to this one? Well, this is how you pass it. Right click, run as. Instead of Java application, go to run configurations. Okay. And then you click on this guy here, new launch configuration, and it will take your program, hello world, and your project is core Java _ Feb 2015. Now go to arguments here. These are program arguments. These are VM arguments, virtual machine arguments. We do not pass any virtual machine arguments. This is how you can change the virtual machine behavior, like your garbage collection, etc. Okay, but don't worry about it. Program arguments, this is where you can pass your arguments. All the space separated arguments will be collected as string array, and that string array will pass it to your program. Let me say here Venkat Hari. When I do Venkat Hari, what it means? This is my first string, this is my second string. Behind the scenes, it is creating a string array and passing here. So our args of 0 will be my first argument. Args of 1, I'm not reading here, but you can, if you read args of 1, that will be my Hari. Go ahead and run it here. See here, hello Venkat. And I'm not hard coding it in my program. I'm sending it at runtime externally. I'm sending it externally. So right click, run as, run configuration. Now you can go to the first time only you have to do that one. Now you have it. So now Venkat and Hari, right? Okay, run it again. Now let me get the second parameter. How do I get the second parameter from array? Args of 1. And then that's the second parameter. And now I'm expecting everybody to pass their first name and last name. Rather than calling this first param and second param, I'm saying now first name and last name. Okay? Hello first name, and then I'll say last space, and then I'll say last name. I want to wish them like that. Right click, run as, run configuration, run. Hello Venkat Hari. How did we get this? This is the first argument that has been passed here, second argument passed here. What happens if I try to do a third argument here? Oops. What happens if I try to do a string args of 0? Let's say their city name. Let's say their city name. What happens here? Anybody? I will get an array index out of bounds exception because this string array holds only 2 values, 2 strings, and the size is only 2. zeroth position and first position, and there's nothing in the second position because the size itself is only 2. You are trying to get the third element when the size itself is 2. Then you are asking for something outside the array index out of bound. Reasonable? But I can change this guy. Hello, Venkatna. You can say your city is, okay, and then I'll print the city. Now I can pass, still I'll get the error. Okay, I'll get the error index or the Mons exception, but I can pass the third argument here, run as run configuration. This is my first argument here, the first string, second one, and the third argument is, let's say, Troy, and the fourth argument is Michigan. Of course, I'm not reading the fourth guy here. See here, hello Venkathari, your city is Troy. And you can also say your state is make sense? See that? Hari, Troy, Michigan. So how did we do that? Run as, run configuration, look at it. So this is what we are passing. Did I hard code anywhere in my program? No. I can give this to you. I can give you this class file and I'll have you run it. And you can pass your own arguments and your program will behave completely differently. It will wish you, not me. If I change these values here, right? Ravi, I don't know, whatever the last name is, let's say, and then see, hello Ravi last name, and try Michigan. So we are customizing without hard coding in our program. We are customizing it. Make sense? And in fact, I wanted to talk about the scanner class too today. How can you read the input from the command prompt? Okay, you ask me to enter something, I will enter something, and then you use my whatever I inputted, whatever I gave it in the command prompt, you ask me to enter my name. Okay, I enter my name. And then you say that, hello, how are you doing? And then you enter your age, and then it will calculate something. So you can do it more interactively, but here you are passing all the arguments at once. Here you are passing all the arguments at once, and you're running your JVM, and then it is reading all the parameters that you passed from the string array. That is why everything is a string array. Now, you may be wondering, let's say a simple calculator demo. Let's say, my addition demo. Okay? Addition demo. I wanted to make a small point, and then we can leave. Now here, my first argument is first operand, right? Operand 1 equal to args of 0. Meaning, when you run this program, call me with operand 1 and operand 2, and I'll give you the sum, right? I will give you the sum. Now string sum equal to operand 1, operand 2. Okay? Your sum equal to, okay? Now let me run this guy. Addition demo arguments. Let's say I want to do 5 plus 8. I should get 13. What is this? 5 plus 8 is 58? In Java 58? Is it so? Why did I get 5 plus 8 as 58? Anybody?
Because it is a string, we need to call the integer dot parsing.
Okay. Okay. So all of you are correct. So here your JVM is giving you as a string. Even though you passed 5 and 8, JVM is giving you int. JVM will automatically give you everything. It doesn't matter whether it's a boolean, whether it is a int, whether it's a double, whether it is something else. Okay? JVM will give you as a string array. Now you need to convert. Here what you did, you got it as a string, you got it as a string, and this string plus this string. This plus is overloaded, meaning it can do more than one functionality. If you do 2 plus 3, it will do 5. But if you do something like this, a string 2, a string 5, it will give you 25 because it will simply concatenate, meaning this string side by side, this string, it will just attach them. That is what it exactly did with 58, 5 plus 8. So your JVM will give you as string only because that is the only type that is allowed here. But if you need to do a mathematical operation, then it is your responsibility to convert that string into appropriate type, whatever you're expecting. Okay? Let's say we are expecting double or, yeah, double, right? Or let's say int to start with. Okay? Now int operand 1 equal to, how do I convert, this is of the type string. As I told you, Java is a statically typed language, meaning operand 1, even though it holds a value of 5, you said it is of the type string, so I can only think of it as a string of characters. I cannot think that 5 is a number and you can do 5 plus 8 is 13. I can't think. I'm dumb. I'm statically typed. You get it? So it is your responsibility to convert that string into the appropriate type. You need to convert that into int and then do an addition. How do I convert that value that is in the form of string? How do I convert into int? There is a class called integer. Okay, this integer has a method called parseInt. In fact, it has a static method. Don't worry about static method, but it has a method called parseInt. Okay, and here you pass a string, it will convert into int and give you back. Now you give that operand 1, okay, and then you got an int here, and this is your int. And now do the same thing for this guy, operand 2, and maybe you'll op2, and now you do int sum equal to op1 plus op2, okay, and now you can sum it. Now let's take a look at it. Now sum is 13 because you got 5 here, you got 8 here. This guy is 5, this guy is 8. Now you converted into something of the type int, something of the type int. Now it's 5 is now in the form of int. Now this 8 is in the form of int. Now you do a plus now. Now the same plus will act differently now. Now it knows that, okay, when you give me 2 ints, I'll have to do mathematical addition, mathematical sum. Earlier, the same plus did that, okay, you give me a string, I'll just attach those guys. That is called concatenation, but now it's doing something different. That's when in a technical term, it's called that it is overloaded, meaning one operator is doing more than one based on the context. So here, plus operator is overloaded. It will do concatenation if you pass 2 strings, and it will also do mathematical addition if you pass 2 different ints, 2 different doubles, 2 different blanks, 2 different blah. I mean, blah meaning those, any of the addition capable types, okay? Make sense? So this is how you convert it. Okay, you may be wondering, how do I convert into double? Maybe somebody passing me 5.6, but still JVM will give me 5.6 in the double quotes because that's a string and it's the only type that it can give me. Well, you can do a double dot. There is a class called double, and parse double. You pass your string and it will give you double. Now you can say double operand 1 or op 1 equal to double dot parse double. You can do, let's say if you are passing true or false, okay, again it will be taken as strings. Again, Boolean has parse Boolean. Okay? Now, your true and false will be converted into the appropriate Boolean types. Now you can do whatever the Boolean operations that you're working on. Make sense? So your JVM always takes whatever the input that you gave it to it as strings, and those strings will be space separated, and those are string array. It will be converted into string array, and it will be given to your program. That's good enough for today. I think it's good. In fact, it's not casting. Ketan, we didn't talk about casting. We'll probably will talk next time, but this is not casting.
I got it. Yeah, it is a parser. In parser, basically converting back to the object. Object type, basically. Is that it?
It's actually not, but I'll not talk about it right now.
Okay.
No, casting is not parsing. They're different. So.
Yep. Okay. No, I got it now. Once you say parser, I got it now.
Yep. Now, Uma here, assuming that we have 10 names, and if we need the 8th name to be printed, can we do that? I think I answered your question. Did I? Uma, did I answer that question?
Yeah. So when we declare it in the argument,
Okay.
maybe I'm not clear about it. So how do we get it?
I didn't understand the question though, actually.
See, there when you declare the arguments like Anu, Pantana, Aruna.
Yep.
So if we have, for example, 100 names or maybe more than that,
Okay.
and if I want one specific name in between, do I?
Absolutely. Go ahead. So let's say.
So I'll just get the length of the string and then I mention here as student.
No.
Like that?
See, here we created the container with, that takes 20 names, Uma, right? So we put first guy, second, third one, and 10th, 19th one, right? So you want to insert somebody at what position? Tell me. Is it what your requirement?
I think I got the answer. Yeah, I know. I'm clear now. I got the answer. So in case if we are mentioning about 100 names there, and if I want the 50th name, then I can just.
You need to increase the size. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah.
See here. See here. Now I put 9th. You already 10th position has already been taken. So let's say 12th position, meaning index 12 is 13th position essentially, right? So I assigned you to the 13th position, Uma. In the container. This is how we do it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And also, since you're talking, how do we move the object from one position to the next position? Can you ask that question again?
Yeah, sorry, while you were explaining about the arrays, you said that if one space is or
that one
empty, and if you want to move it to the next position, you said you can, for example, if the 10th position is empty and if I want to move the 5th to 6th and 6th to 7th, like you said, right? So
that actually happens under the hood. We will talk about it. We will talk about that. I told you that array is a data structure that holds all these values positionally. And then if you want to insert something in between, in the middle, you need to move all these objects to the right. Actually, we will worry about that. We do not have to do any of that manually, but that is just a concept I told you. I wanted to tell you what exactly happens under the hood, because later on I'm going to explain more advanced data structures. So later I'll talk about something called array list and linked list. At that time, I'll tell you the difference between both of them. Then these concepts, we'll talk about that. When you put it in the middle, then in the array list you'll move all of them to the right, but in the case of linked list you don't have to. That is where I'm going. That is why I told you, just put it in your head. You don't have to worry about it right now.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, that's more advanced. When we talk about the collections, we'll talk about that. Maybe I should not have mentioned it. It's something I wanted to mention it. Maybe I'll talk about it in collections. So don't worry about it for now.
Okay, thanks.
And now, yeah, yes, I'm coming to you. Now I'm going from bottom up. So can we create array of last and first name? I didn't understand. Can we use Boolean? Okay, I think we got. Yeah, go ahead, Rohit. And Yuri also has a question, but I'll get to him in a minute. So you go first.
Venkat, you were explaining about these arrays right now, and with taking this static void main string args, right? My question is like, what is the concept? I mean, is there any special concept that you want us to know, that why are you concentrating on this public stat void main string args, or is just that you're explaining about arrays in this point of view?
Okay, good question, very good question. So all these while, I didn't tell you, I think for the last 4 or 5 classes we have been talking about objects, etc. You to blindly write this public static void main string array args. I mean, you guys are fantastic. You never asked why we are doing it this way. But since we talked about the arrays, once we talk about public, once we talk about static, I'll mention it, why these are. But since we talked about the arrays, I thought I should mention this one. See here, string array. And also, by keeping this point, by using this point, I wanted to make my point across all of you that this is how you can pass the arguments to the JVM. And JVM collect all of these space separated strings and give you as a string array. So you are reading it. So how do we use arrays? Of course, definitely you use arrays this way, but in addition to it, I'm also telling you guys that, hey, you can write programs in a more user-friendly way. You don't have to, see, if your calculator does not accept the values from outside, if you just hard code 2 plus 3, it is like useless for me, right? Every time you have to create a new calculator to do 2 plus 3 and 5 plus 3 is another calculator. Do we ever do that? No. We ask user to enter it. So if now you redefine your calculator, okay? Now in the calculator demo, don't do 2 and 3. Now in calculator demo, what you do is take it from the actual user and you pass it to the calculator and you show him the result. Is everybody getting my point? Since we learned this concept of accepting the values from the user, from the caller, in your calculator demo, I don't want to see this hard-coded 9 and 5 and say calculator dot add 9, 5. No, we don't need to do that. Now, take the first and second. In fact, take your operand too. Whether he wants to do a plus, whether he wants to do a minus, all of this. Use your switch case or use your if-else conditions and convert all of your strings to ints and doubles, and then you do it. Does that make sense now? Or maybe it's too fast? Everybody, first, since you asked this question, so let me ask you, did you understand? Go ahead.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Yep.
Did everybody get it? So
I have a question.
Yes.
If there is constructor and there is an parameters, so in the main method the string it will take.
Okay. One, we did not talk about the constructors. Okay. Number two, I mean, you are advanced. I appreciate that, Madhavi. But number two, here, this is a method. This is not a constructor. And my point here is that you define your hundreds of methods, hundreds of constructors, which we didn't talk about it, don't worry about it. But you define your hundreds of methods, hundreds of constructors. But if you want to run your JVM, you need your main method. That is why your calculator.java, customer.java, you right click, you can't run any of them. You can't run. You can only compile it. But it can be run by a different program that has a main method. So my point is, you can kick off the JVM only if that class has a main method. A legal main method, not just the name main. Your arguments has to be string array. Your method has to be public. It has to be static. It has to be wide. Did you get that? Madhavi, did you get that?
Yes.
You seem to be skeptical. No, you can, it's okay. We can talk. Not clear? We'll talk.
Actually, I have one doubt. In the main method, when we pass the method also, means just like return type or something, and there is a value we passed, then it is going to in string arrays or not? I means I am confused for that. This what is the meaning of the string arrays for only for this method or
exactly. You can write your own method that takes the string array also, but in the main method, the importance of the string array is that when you run your Java program, whatever you are passing here will be passed to you in the string array. That's my point. Whatever you pass it here, right? You got it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got
whatever
it.
you pass it here, whatever you pass it here, okay, these will be passed. Where is that? Hello world, right? Okay, whatever you are passing here, Ravi, last name, Troy, Michigan, these strings, the space separated strings will be collected by JVM, and JVM will create the string array. You don't have to, and it is giving you that string array to your main method is my point, and to the only main method.
Okay.
But later, I mean, definitely you can create a method that accepts the string array. Don't get me wrong. Don't get confused, Madhavi, there. But my only point here is that main method must accept the string array. You can't do something like this. Get it? You can do something like this. Even though you are not using it, see here, you can do something like this. What JVM thinks in this case is that JVM thinks that, oh, this array demo one has a method called main, meaning Madhavi has defined her own method. I don't worry about it. This is not a special method that is used to invoke JVM. Are you getting it?
Yeah, I got it now.
If you put a string array here, then it is a special method. Oh, okay, she has a main method. Then I'll give her this option to run the JVM. The moment you take this one, or you take your int, okay, no problem, right? But JVM will not treat your main like a special method. JVM will treat it like any other method, and it thinks that, oh, this guy does not have main method that I'm looking for, so he will not be able to kick off JVM. Agree? Meaning you will not be able to run your program. Simple. Kicking off your JVM is nothing but you will not be able to run it. Now you can. See it? Venkat Krishna, do you have a question? You asked something here, so you can speak also. Venkat Krishna or Yuri, anybody has any questions? We can talk. Be casual. Any questions, comments? Did you all get it? Okay. How to hang string type to int args? Can you speak how to change string type to int args. This one here, you want to change to int type here. My point is, you can go ahead and do it. Your compiler will not complain, but your JVM will not understand this as a special method. JVM thinks that, okay, this guy wrote a different method called main with int array as an argument. So JVM thinks that it's not that special method that is used to run your JVM. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot, your public static void main only takes string array, period. It only gives you, even though your user passed number 2 and number 3, even those number 2 and number 3 will be passed as strings. It is your responsibility to change them to int or double or whatever you're expecting. But this one can't be changed. Did I answer your question? Okay. I think that's it. So if you don't have any questions, that's all we have. Thank you, everyone.
Do we have the previous class recordings in the Excel?
Right. I think I missed that previous class, right? So I'll put that today, definitely. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So for the homework part, right? This is my goal here. I think we all wrote the calculator programs, calculator and calculator demo, etc. Now, I want you to change your calculator demo class to accept the operands and the operator. I think everybody got it, what I'm saying here, right? Meaning 5 plus 3. So take 5 plus 3, something like this. Okay, so 5 space 3 space 3. Okay, then your JVM will treat all these 3 as 3 different arguments, right? So it will create a string array like this, right? String array args, I mean, you already have args, right? So args of 0 will be 5. Args of 1 will be your plus, right?
Plus.
And args of 2 will be your 3. Now, in your calculator demo, you do a switch case thing. Your plus is a character, so you can use your character or string, okay? Use your switch case. Or if else, if, okay, operator dot equals, okay, if it is plus, then you call, okay, first you have to convert your args of 0 into double, args of 2 into double and put them. But if it is your operator is your second argument, right? If your operator is plus, then you call the calculator dot add and you pass your operand 1, operand 2. Are you guys getting it? And if your operator is minus, then you do calculator dot subtract. You don't have to touch the calculator. But I want you to change the calculator demo and you don't have to hard code anymore. Now, your calculator demo, you can change it to calculator client. Okay? Or you can convert, you can merge both calculator demo and calculator into one class, and you can put public static void main in the calculator itself. There are several ways of doing it, but I want you to, my goal here is that accept the operand 1, operand operator and operand 2, all these 3 from user, and convert these strings into the appropriate types like doubles, and then call the appropriate methods. So you will use all of your if condition, else condition, all of this you will be able to use it, or switch cases. do it in both ways. One, do it with if else, and do it with switch case. Okay. Can we do this, please? Is everybody clear about what needs to be done here? I think it's pretty simple. I mean, it may not be simple for everybody, but it's, I think we got the point, right? Uma, did you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, but I have to watch the video again and then.
Yeah, not a problem.
I understand what you're trying. Yeah, I can understand what you're trying.
And do you also understand that, I'm merging today's class into the program and how I'm asking you to do it? I mean, today's class we talked about how do we pass the input to the JVM. Now here, we are saying how do I pass the inputs to my program, Forget about JVM. How do I pass input to my program? That's all I'm saying here. So by taking this input, now you don't hard code anymore in your calculator demo. Or make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, please do that, everybody. And please, all of you, meet tomorrow. I will upload today's video in 2 hours. It takes 2 hours to convert it. I'll definitely upload it. Thank you.